So we've got an update on the U.S.-China trade war.
What's going on?
Well, it sounds like China's got the power here. That's what it sounds like.
What China says.
Well, this is the statement from China, and I'll let you guys be the judge of it. It says, from China, China's position is consistent. If you want to fight, we will fight to the end. If you want to talk, our door is wide open. So that's their statement. The Wall Street Journal, the headline was China signals readiness to respond to U.S. trade overtures. And then the opening paragraph was China's evaluating U.S. proposals.
But
So who's got the power?
China sounds like, they got the power, it sounds like you before me.
Oh, right. Because the way we talk about this is like we say game of chicken, or like when the two cars are going at each other, like who's going to kind of turn first kind of thing. I mean, that's just how I'm reading it also. And the funniest crap is like every time that they come out, meaning the Trump people come out and say something, they're always just like, China needs us more, than we need them.
China
like
wants to talk to us, right? But doesn't sound like it.
I mean, China doesn't make those kind of statements. I mean, this is the statements that they make. They say China's position is consistent, so we haven't changed. If you want to fight, we'll fight to the end, right? If you want to talk, our door is wide open. And that was the other thing we were thinking about is that, okay, so if Trump goes to China, would that mean China has more power?
Sure.
You think
so? Because Trump keeps saying that he said one-stop shopping in White House. So he's just sitting down in the big couch and the countries giving your proposal. We just sign this. We just sign this, and he just needs to sit there. Okay, I take that and sign it. I take this, sign it. But this time, if he needs to go to China, China's doing shopping.
right. No, yeah. I mean, it's how you perceive it, because the way you already know that no matter what happens, Trump will say he won, et cetera, et cetera. But this is where just being objective. Trump's either going to go to China or she's going to go to Washington, right? And maybe they do both, but that's the question. What does that show for power?
So last time, that's why the Kim Jong-un and the Trump meet at Vietnam.
Oh, right, like a neutral spot. Yeah. So they could do that theoretically, right? They'll call some sort of meeting, but we're going to be neutral. But I promise you, because we've read reports of this, Trump really wants Xi to come. And this is for all world leaders. Trump wanted to come, and Trump wants to get the photo op.
Yeah.
Trump really wants an Instagram photo. So here, for real, here's some more quote from China here. If the U.S. wants to talk, it should show sincerity to talk and be prepared to act in correcting its erroneous actions and canceling unilateral tariffs. So basically, they're saying, USA, you basically stop lying, be sincere, and you need to correct your mistakes. That's literally, like, I'll read it again.
Because they start first.
Yeah, so I'll read it again. If the U.S. wants to talk, it should show sincerity to talk and be prepared to act in correcting its erroneous actions and canceling unilateral tariffs. So, and so, I mean, this is the statement of China. And so basically, you're kind of putting the ball in the USA's court. So if you want to talk, our door is open. So, I mean, that's why we're talking like who has more power here. Stop lying, right?
And correct yourself.
The funniest thing is, so it is, and honestly, like, I'm American, I'm cheering for Team USA, but the problem is Team Trump, the people on Team Trump, they're just so incompetent. And, China, like, their statements are like really well thought out. They're really good at this kind of stuff. Like, here's another one. They write these things really well. From China. No, sorry, this is actually from Trump. We'll go from Trump first. Trump says, I'm not going to drop them unless they give us something that's, substantial. Drop them, meaning drop the tariffs. Trump also says, let us go in and work China to go into China and sell our products, sell our wares. And then Trump keeps talking that USA is the big department store.
And he said he act like China doesn't buy anything from USA, right?
Yeah, I showed a chart in the last video. I mean, there is so much trade between the two countries.
Yeah, but
this
different
idea,
category, right?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. So USA sends tons of food. The planes is a big one actually. The Boeing planes, that kind of stuff. Medical devices.
You can refund.
You can, which I never would have thought of was a thing. And you're talking like, you know, $60 to $100 million kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't want, we say take deliveries.
Yeah.
If you want to take delivery, you just send it back to the center and say screw you. It's our money. We're not giving it to you. So China actually made a video and released a statement to sort of rally the world against USA. Basically, so it was the theme of the video was never kneel down, and this was the quote: "When the rest of the world stands together in solidarity, the U.S. is just a small, stranded boat." And if you want to replace the word Trump in there, you can, right? We all stand in solidarity, and if we do that, Trump is all by himself as a small, stranded boat.
Yeah, and you know, even we don't really do that actually
What's
in
that?
our news.
Oh, don't.
On our news, they kind of make fun of Trump because you know yesterday, the news shows yesterday Trump's cabinet meeting, right? But no one mentioned about like tariff, how about GDP stuff. But they're like, "Oh my God, you've done good job."
Oh, they showed it. They showed it.
You are, and our news said they do that for 2 hours, and they
so that's kind of like a polite way to make fun of.
Yes, but and they don't mention anything about negative GDP and tariff, and they just cheer for the
So the joke in USA has been like, how long are you going to run these meetings like North Korea? So you guys don't make that joke though.
No.
that would be a really serious insult from you guys, right? No, seriously, in USA, that's been the joke. Oh, you didn't hear that one?
Yeah, because you don't do that. You know, you show.
Oh, right. Yeah. So the North Korean example, if you don't cheer the dear leader or something, they're going to shoot you. So Trump, they're not going to go that far. They'll just send you to El Salvador. And El Salvador people do that. So there's that. I want to give you an update on what's going on with the Sandcastle Festival in Busan. What is that?
Carving Rose and Bruno Mars. You guys know.
There it is. And it's actually really cool. There's a whole bunch of these things. They'll be done in 2 weeks. All right, we'll give you guys updates as they're building it. For example, it was this morning they do like this press briefing thing, right? So no one's mentioned it except for me, that to my knowledge, I wonder if their press secretary is going to leave or something. Because the last couple of days, she's just been handing the microphone to someone else. And she just stands there and sort of like, okay, you ask the question, but then the other person does all the speaking.
I see.
So she's still there in the room, but she doesn't actually do anything the last couple of days. And I just wonder if she's getting stressed out from lying all the time. And
I don't think so. It's not about her choice. I think it's her boss's choice.
Okay, that is a possibility too. That they're tired of her performance.
I think
that's a possibility.
Kind of person who wants to get all the attention on camera.
That's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, that's my opinion.
No, it's because she just did that behind the scenes video. Recently.
Yeah, so the recent person, you mentioned he's kind of, Nazi kind of feeling.
Yeah, he really is.
That's what actually Trump wants. So I think that, their team leader, puts, trying puts, other person, testing other persons. And
it could be, and that's. In that regard, you could say it's just literally an extension of the reality TV show. Like, okay, this week on the reality TV show.
It's kind of audition.
Will it be Team A or Team B will live up to the challenge, and then they start forming their teams and they kick someone off the island. Here's another quote from China. It's actually, their quotes are really fascinating. From China. Saying one thing and doing another, or even trying to coerce and blackmail under the guise of talks, will not work with China. So don't try to blackmail or coerce China, and saying one thing and doing another thing will not work with China.
That reminds me that the fairy tale, children's book, the wolf.
Oh yeah, we say like the boy who cried wolf, where you basically say the wolf is coming, the wolf's coming, it never comes, and when it finally comes, that kind of thing. I mean, a lot of this stuff is, how do you do business with someone like Trump, right? Who basically you can't trust. He's a liar. He makes up stuff. It's the kind of boss too. We've all had this boss, and we hate it, where no matter what work you do, your boss always claims like that they did it. Like, no one wants that kind of boss. And the craziest crap is, you didn't hear this? The news came out that he fired someone already. Do you remember the whole Signal thing, the messaging thing? The messaging app thing.
Mess.
The military had the Signal messaging app, and they invited the reporter into the app group.
I don't know.
You don't remember this thing?
Yeah, yeah.
It just happened. So and then the guy, it was the drunk guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the drunk guy, then he had another messaging group with his like wife and his brother, and they were messaging military stuff. So anyway, so one of the guys, his name was a national security guy's name was Waltz. So he was the one who invited the reporter by mistake, right? And so the news came out that he got fired. So we think this was the first one, but it turns out they just moved him over to the UN for some reason. So it was shuffled, and then someone else, his name is Rubio. He's the Secretary of State, so like head of our foreign relations. He's now going to do 2 jobs. So they haven't really found a replacement person, but I'm just mentioning that because like China's not dumb. They can read the news. Like so they see the chaos going on. They literally see, oh, your press secretary is 27 years old, the youngest in history. We know she's dumb. I mean, we're in an environment to where like they know. Like they can see Trump like the same way we can see it as Americans. We can see it like China can see it too, and so
yeah, everyone can see.
Yeah. Even you were saying even the Korean news they kind of make fun of it.
You know. And I forgot to mention about the Samsung. You know, Trump Jr. just visited Korea.
Right.
And and Trump yesterday mentioned Samsung gonna build a factory in our news and our
in USA.
Yeah, in USA. But Samsung said, basically, nope, you're not gonna do that. But they didn't react right away because they kind of, how can I say, afraid of the Trump's revenge.
Well, so the problem is like you don't really want to cause a war with the U.S. president.
Yeah,
so
and, the Trump's juniors was just in Korea.
Right.
He didn't even meet the Samsung CEO.
Yeah, so it was like Samsung, LG, SK, and Hyundai, the really big 4 companies, did not meet with Trump's kid, and the companies that did meet were like department stores,
food, like medical.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're working on.
They're not a small company.
No. Like, Korea's got like 10 really big companies, but it's hard to say that they actually tried to keep that under wraps. So they talked about in the prior video. If you guys didn't see that, but basically. They met at a secret location, or not secret's not the word. We'll say the word they used was like secure location at like a hotel, and then they had a ton of bodyguards, like really a lot.
Bodyguard.
And then I guess he was fully scheduled, and they didn't see any public statements.
He just stayed just one night, I think.
Yeah, they kind of snuck him in, snuck him out. But when you go into the airport, people are gonna see you, and like the word's gonna get out that you showed up.
And plus, he's like with 20 bodyguards.
Yeah. So the reason why I mention that is that. They're trying to keep this kind of stuff secret because that's a good example because we were just talking about like if Trump goes to China, does that make U.S. look weaker? So theoretically, Trump's kid going to Korea makes it sort of like weird. The USA is one running around trying to work something out, not Korea.
Yeah, but he didn't meet the big 4.
You can say that
company.
And then the other thing we usually when we talk about this stuff is if Biden's kids did that crap or Obama's kids. Fox News would be like all upset. Look at the corruption. Look how bad these kids are. But when the Trump kids did this, like, oh, look how good of a business person he is, etc. But Fox News didn't mention this stuff either. So it's actually quite interesting. They try to keep it on the USA DL down low. So anyway, just wanted to give you an update on what's going on with the U.S.-China trade war. There are talks going on behind the scenes, and essentially, again, Trump wants to talk directly to Xi, but it doesn't sound like Xi's having it still. So that's what's going on. Please share your thoughts, and we'll catch you on the next video. So bye.
Bye.